As another anime season comes to a close, it's with a great shame that I have to say it's been yet another massive disappointment. It's common knowledge by now that the general quality of anime has been in sharp decline, but I never thought I'd see something that is so shamelessly a rip-off be a massive success. This isn't the kind of anime we should be supporting. It actively contributes to the dilution of the art form and lowers our collective standards. Quite frankly, I find it really concerning, so I'm here to make sure we get the facts right. Aim for the Top, Gunbuster, has been one of the year's biggest hits, and quite possibly the most divisive anime to air thus far. Personally, I think it's absolute trash fire. The characters are bland and underdeveloped, the world building is inconsistently written, just like the narrative itself in fact. The number of themes it introduces and tries to tackle, to then either completely forget about them or completely bungle it, is just laughable. This shouldn't come as a surprise though, as the people behind this anime's production could barely come up with an original idea of their own. Gunbuster is a clear rip-off of Aim for the Ace, and the fact that this hasn't been brought up in more discussions around this anime astounds me. They're almost exactly the same, but one of these is a true anime classic, with the other just being seasonal garbage that will quickly be forgotten about. Let's start with the most glaring similarity, our protagonists. It goes way deeper than just sharing personality traits. Sure, both Noriko from Gunbuster and Hiromi from Ace are determined and ambitious main leads, but there's way more at hand here which makes it more than mere coincidence. They both share the exact same kind of drive and motivation, both being newcomers to their respective school clubs and have their perceptions and situations change drastically due to a rapid escalation in their status. Both protagonists are less skilled than their counterparts, and have to quickly learn to keep up with the pace of the new situations they've been placed in. Gunbuster is clearly trying to ape the character study that Ace did so perfectly, but doing so with the subtlety of a brick wall, not allowing itself any time to breathe. In addition to this, the other characters and their relations to one another are exactly the same. Noriko has her supportive best friend who stands by her in the face of adversity, Kimiko. This is exactly like Maki's role in Aim for the Ace. There's also the people around the club. There's the beauties who are the ace of their respective teams, who are respected and admired by the protagonists, Amano from Gunbuster and Ruzaki from Ace. The person related to said characters who get jealous when the protagonist gets chosen instead of them, Reiko from Gunbuster and Kyoko from Ace, but perhaps most glaringly of all, it's the no-nonsense, hard-knuckle coaches of the two shows, mostly just referred to as Coach. Gunbuster doesn't do anything new with its characters, and even writes them into the story with no understanding of what made them so compelling in the first place. The general vibe I get from watching the show is that it doesn't understand what came before it so good, so beloved, and instead shamelessly tries to ape it in a meagre attempt to recreate that magic. But it's not only Aim for the Ace that Gunbuster shamelessly rips off. Its general design sensibilities and aesthetics are just a mishmash of a bunch of sci-fi and mecha anime that comes before it. It makes Gunbuster extremely jarring to watch, having no clear identity of its own. So much of it's lifted from anime such as Space Battleship Yamato, Ijiyong, the list goes on really. For a specific example, all you have to do is see the signature Gunbuster pose. It's literally just the arms folded pose from Getter Robo, repurposed for no reason. Gunbuster just seems to love to live in the shadow of what came before it, and even from a general production standpoint, Gunbuster doesn't stand out at all. The final episode especially is extremely hurt by the fact that it's completely made in black and white. Did they just run out of budget? Are they just trying to look cool for the sake of it? Probably both. Everything about Gunbuster is extremely amateurish. I've never heard of the names behind this anime, but if this is what director Hideaki Anno's first attempt is like, I hope he calls it quits now, because it's clear as day that he's never going to create anything meaningful if this soulless nonsense is anything to go by. Honestly, what is up with Japan? There's no creativity at all. They really need to listen to us fans more than recycling old ideas all the time. It feels like we're the only people to truly care about this art form. We'll never be able to see truly great anime again until we get out this pit the industry has written itself into, and I look forward to seeing the day that it happens. Wait, what did you think I meant?